This is self-dialogue, the ability to reframe your inner conversation. The words you use with yourself shape your mindset, and your mindset determines your actions. Epictetus himself emphasized this idea. We are not disturbed by events, but by our thoughts about those events. Change the thought, and you change the experience. Now, let's move on to the third technique, the obstacle as the way. This principle, famously embraced by the Stoics, teaches that challenges are not roadblocks but pathways to growth. Instead of avoiding difficulties, lean into them. Ask yourself, what can I gain from this situation? If you failed at something, what skills can you improve? If someone rejected you, what did you learn about yourself? Think of a mountain climber. Every obstacle they face is part of the journey. The steep slope isn't a reason to stop. It's what makes the climb meaningful. Adopting this mindset transforms struggles into stepping stones. Next, our fourth technique, negative visualization. This may sound counterintuitive, but it's one of the most powerful mental tools. The Stoics practice imagining worst-case scenarios, not to dwell in fear, but to prepare themselves. Instead of being caught off guard by difficulties, they train their minds to handle them with strength and composure. Try it now. Think about something you fear losing, a job, a relationship, a personal goal. Now, picture life without it. How would you adapt? How would you rebuild? The purpose isn't to make yourself anxious, but to develop resilience. When you mentally prepare for difficulties, you're less likely to be shaken by them. Finally, we arrive at the fifth and most crucial technique, practicing gratitude. You might wonder, what does gratitude have to do with overcoming struggles? The answer is everything. No matter how bad things seem, there's always something to appreciate. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's present. Epictetus, despite his hardships, emphasized gratitude for the things he could control, his thoughts, his actions, his ability to learn and teach. Even in chains, he found reasons to be thankful. And so can you. Each morning, take a moment to list 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be grand. Small things count. A warm cup of coffee, a kind word from a friend, the simple fact that you woke up today with another chance to try again. This practice rewires your brain to notice the good, even in tough times. Each of these techniques is a tool. Use them, and over time, you'll develop a mindset that turns setbacks into strength. Remember, your circumstances do not define you. Your response to them does. Just like Epictetus, you have the power to rise above whatever challenges life throws your way. Will you stay stuck in old thought patterns, or will you take control of your mindset and change your life? The choice is yours. Here's a rewritten version of your script with completely different words while keeping the core message intact. It's easy to see obstacles as purely negative, but what if we shifted our perspective? Instead of dwelling on what went wrong, we can ask, what can I take away from this? Or, how can this make me better? The way we frame our experiences shapes how we grow from them. Try this right now. Think about a challenge you recently faced, as we discussed in Technique 1. When self-doubt creeps in, pause and ask yourself, if someone I care about were in this position, what would I say to them? Now, direct that same understanding and encouragement toward yourself. The philosopher Marcus Aurelius understood the power of self-reflection. His meditations were essentially letters to himself, a way to refine his mindset through deliberate self-talk. This wasn't just an exercise, it was a tool to reshape how he viewed hardships. One of the most effective ways to develop resilience is by studying those who embody it. The Stoics knew that real wisdom isn't just found in abstract ideas. It's best learned through example. Consider Epictetus. Born into slavery, he faced immense adversity, yet became one of history's greatest teachers of perseverance. His life serves as a reminder that external circumstances don't define us. Our mindset does. Now, think about someone you admire, someone who stays composed under pressure. Maybe it's a family member who handled tough times with dignity, a leader who navigates crises with clarity, or even a fictional character who exemplifies perseverance. The goal isn't to idolize them, but to understand their thought process. Here's how to apply this. When faced with a difficult moment, ask yourself, how would my role model handle this? Would they step back before reacting? Would they search for an opportunity hidden within the difficulty? Would they focus only on what they can control? Take Admiral James Stockdale, for instance. As a prisoner of war in Vietnam for 7 years, he relied on Stoic principles to endure. He didn't just survive, he led others through unimaginable hardship. Later, he became a vice presidential candidate, sharing his insights with the world. The takeaway? Choose role models who demonstrate true resilience. Observe not just what they achieved, but how they approach challenges. The next time you face adversity, channel their mindset. Perhaps the most transformative mindset shift is learning to see so-called failures not as defeats, but as valuable lessons. This isn't just about optimism. It's about fundamentally changing how we interpret setbacks. Take Thomas Edison. When asked about his thousands of unsuccessful attempts at inventing the light bulb, he famously said, "I haven't failed. I've just discovered 10,000 ways that don't work." This wasn't just a witty remark. It was a way of thinking that allowed him to keep pushing forward. His resilience made him one of the most influential inventors in history. So, how can you apply this to your own life? The next time you experience a setback, pause before letting negativity take over. Ask yourself 3 questions. For example, imagine you present an idea at work and it's rejected. Instead of taking it as a sign that you're not good enough, reframe it. You've gained a better understanding of what your audience values, improved your communication skills, and built confidence by stepping outside your comfort zone. What once seemed like a failure is now a stepping stone. This aligns perfectly with Epictetus' wisdom. It's not what happens to you, but how you respond to it that matters. Every challenge holds the potential for growth. If you choose to see it that way, this mindset becomes even more powerful when you start embracing difficult situations rather than avoiding them. Most people design their lives to steer clear failure. They stick to the familiar, take the safest path, and avoid risks. But history's greatest breakthroughs came from those who were willing to stumble repeatedly. The Wright brothers didn't perfect flight overnight. They crashed over and over again before getting it right. Every major achievement, every game-changing innovation, stemmed from a willingness to fail, learn, and persist. So, the next time you face an obstacle, remember, it's not a dead end, it's a lesson. How you choose to interpret it will determine whether it holds you back or propels you forward. Before Marie Curie won the Nobel Prize, she went through countless unsuccessful experiments. James Dyson built over 5,000 flawed prototypes before perfecting the vacuum cleaner that made him famous. What these pioneers understood is that failure isn't just something to put up with. It's a crucial part of progress. Instead of avoiding failure, embrace it as a learning tool. The goal isn't to fail less. It's to gain more insight from each setback. When you truly understand this, you'll take bigger leaps, chase ambitious dreams, and achieve greater success than those who play it safe. Now, let's explore the final key principle, mental goal setting. The ancient Stoics recognized a deep truth about human nature. The real struggle isn't the challenges we face, but in how we interpret them. Here's an example. When tackling a big goal, many people focus only on the end result. I need to completely transform my life, or I must master this skill right away. This kind of extreme thinking leads to stress and burnout. Instead, take a Stoic approach. Break down that overwhelming goal into simple, achievable steps. If you're thinking about switching careers, don't start with land my dream job. Begin with something manageable. Research a company today or draft a rough version of your resume. Success isn't about massive leaps. It's about steady, consistent movement. Try this technique. Take your biggest goal and shrink it down to steps so small they feel impossible to fail. For instance, if your goal is to write a book, don't start with write a novel. Begin with something as simple as a single paragraph. Anyone can write 4 sentences. These small wins might seem trivial, but they build momentum. Completing 100 tiny steps adds up to achieving one major goal. If your dream is to leave a lasting impact, remember Epictetus, who rose from slavery to become a respected philosopher, achieved his success through daily, disciplined choices. Your own transformation follows the same pattern. Let's see how these ideas work in action. Meet Sarah, who launched her dream coffee shop 6 months ago. After an exciting start, she's now facing a serious challenge. Her revenue is down 40%, and she's questioning whether she should shut down. She grabs a notebook and makes a simple list. On one side, things she can control, her cafe's quality, menu options, and marketing efforts. On the other, things she can't, rising coffee bean prices and road construction blocking her storefront. Immediately, she stops wasting energy on construction and shifts her focus to improving what she can. Instead of thinking, I'm a failure, or this dream is over, Sarah speaks of herself like a supportive friend. This is part of the learning curve. Every successful cafe owner has faced tough times. She researches other local entrepreneurs and reaches out to a nearby restaurant owner who has overcome similar struggles. This mentor shares valuable insights, showing Sarah that setbacks are just stepping stones. Instead of seeing a 40% revenue drop as a disaster, Sarah interprets it as market feedback. Low sales in the afternoon? That means she needs a new strategy to attract customers during that time. Complaints about seating? That's a sign to add more chairs. Every obstacle becomes a clue for improvement. Set achievable goals. Rather than overwhelming herself with the vague goal of saving the business, Sarah creates specific, manageable targets. These Stoic techniques don't just help you survive hardships. They teach you how to thrive because of them. Whether you're launching a business, changing careers, or navigating life's uncertainties, these principles offer a roadmap forward. Now, we'd love to hear from you. How have these ideas helped you in your own life? Share your experience in the comments. Your story could be the encouragement someone else needs.